So I consider this garden number 1 because it was the first one that I had started when I moved here. This was all ivy, a whole mat of ivy underneath this mock orange tree. And I ripped it all out and I sheet mulched it. I laid down cardboard compost and put a bunch of Helleborus in here. I still don't have this on drip, so I had just watered it. Hummingbird sage, one of my all-time favorites. And we've got Hebe here, an Australian native, right there, and some heucheras, that nice golden color. I have a little astilbe over here. And this is a bleeding heart. It's not blooming right now, but that's also one of my favorites. Pineapple sage and Columbine. So this I consider the shade garden because it gets quite a bit of shade. More heucheras, just a different color leaf. And so I consider this section along with this little triangle patch over here all kind of garden number 1. Got some Chinese ground orchid here that's really beautiful, and a much bigger columbine with some dogwoods against the trampoline. And this Hebe just started blooming. So these are what the flowers look like. So beautiful. Alright, so there's that. And then garden number 2, I consider this plus that patch. So we'll go look at that. Garden number 2 is the mini vegetable garden. This garden had kind of a slow start because of snails, slugs, something else that's been chewing the leaves, and the chickens that live in that coop right over there got out twice and roughed up everything around. But things are finally starting to look good. I did some direct sowing, beans right there, pepper, it's all intercropped. This is a really beautiful blue flower I want to show you. This is Didiscus, blue lace flower. Really beautiful. Yeah, so this is all kind of random. I've got some melons in there. The corn volunteered itself and then was falling over, so it's staked. And this is Malin's birdhouse gourd that we're trying to trellis up. I've got blueberries and a really nice delicata squash. That's that big one right there. And I've got mustard seedlings coming up, a sweet potato that was a volunteer in the compost, an artichoke, and this is a nice pumpkin right there, right over the espalier apple tree. The caution tape is my neighbor, not wanting anyone in their backyard. Yeah, peppers, cucumbers, radishes that were sown here, this is chamomile, and a whole row of beets with the chamomile next to it. So yeah, this was all ranunculus, and now in spring, and now it's veggies and a few flowers. And then I also, this is an apple tree, by the way, too, in a pot. I also consider this part of garden number 2, Nalen's strawberry plant, and this kind of perennial patch here. Nalen's strawberry garden, it's kind of cool. I think that Japanese sweet potatoes and strawberries must be companions, because I just put this in here to see how it would do, and it's really, really happy. And they seem to be liking growing next to each other, so that's cool. This, all this nigella here is going to come out. I'm going to save some of the seeds and then plant more stuff. But we've got geraniums here, echinacea. This is a geum. There's echinacea. And the foxgloves. We've got some feverfew over there. This tree in the middle is a dogwood. This is a lion's tail. And Veronica's the purple. So this is just a nice mixed garden bed here. that I'll clean up and do a little bit more planting in soon. This is Nalen's garden right over here. He's got some more strawberries, tomatoes that aren't getting enough sunlight here, pepper, and he had this really giant blue shrimp plant here in the middle that he really loved, the Cerinthe plant. This is its stalk, and so now he's got a nice dusty miller, some carrots, a little lisianthus canna, and this miniature rose that he picked out from Herbal Symposium. He was collecting petals today. It's really cute. So, yep, these are gardens number 2. Okay, this I consider garden number 3. This was all Bermuda grass and some oxalis growing here that I ripped up and sheet mulched. And then I put a good layer of topsoil on top because the ground was pretty kind of sunken in. We have raspberries over here that I planted. There's a comfrey and a couple lemon balms. So all the plants in here are pretty small still and all kind of mixed up. So I've got sweet potatoes that I started kind of in the middle there. And this section is some flowers and basil. I'm trying dahlias here too because it's part sun, part shade. So you can go look at one of the dahlias coming up. So I just planted the whole clump that I had. I didn't divide the tubers too much, just kind of to give them a better chance. I haven't been having the best of luck with dahlias in general. And this is a plum tree that's right here with a black sage next to it that was already here, and so I put some sedums around it. I love sedum and bunnytail grass. And then across the way we have more just some herbs. That's motherwort, and this is lemon verbena, and there's a licorice right there, and then some, you know, squashes and melons in here as well. There's love in a puff that we're gonna grow kind of up these poles. Some status, it's doing all right there. So yeah, everything's still pretty small here and getting a lot of water. I'm excited for these. These are hibiscus. They're still so tiny, but hopefully they'll grow bigger and do something. And I've got a little lilac right there. So this, yeah, I consider garden number 3. You can see all the Bermuda still on the edges. Grr. Now this is the front yard of garden number 3, which you just saw. So I consider this one garden number 4. And there are foxgloves all in here. A beautiful clary sage. I've got a mint, iris, and there's a purple hopseed bush and a gray Australian rosemary with some yarrow here. So these are the perennials in this bed, and then I've sprinkled quite a bit of annuals in here. Oh yeah, 2 dusty millers. So I've got agrostemma. It's normally a spring flower. It's kind of late to plant this, but I'm just gonna see what it does. And I've got some zinnia seeds in here. So this I'm watering quite often. The cosmos are blooming nice. So yeah, the hope is that, you know, it's more foxglove dominant in the spring, and then we get some summer annuals growing in here. I'll show you the clary sage because it's just so amazing. Wow. So this I consider garden number 5. I've got a lot of perennials in here that I used to grow at the farm, and so this garden is planted most like blocks of things. So I've got a block of foxglove here with another little Australian grey rosemary plant, and this really nice rose geranium and lilac here. This patch, the folks who live here wanted to grow some veggies, so we left that patch open, which is the most sunny got yarrow around there, and some chrysanthemums. You can see I've experimented with leaving some of them, some of the stems shooting up, and then I've cut down other plants. Normally you want to cut them down because you want to encourage blooms in later summer, early fall. They're fall flowering crop, but you know, with it being here in part sun, part shade, maybe it's better to leave them tall. I don't know. So I'll find out. They're all random colors. And then I've got a little patch of roses here that's doing pretty well. This whole little area, I don't think has been getting enough water. So I've been trying to bring these back to life, but these bulbs were all Crinodona. It's kind of like the Naked Ladies flower, but they're supposed to keep their leaves. So they're having a little bit of a shock right now, and I'm gonna baby them a bit more. Got feverfew, and this is a really nice smelling Mexican marigold. It's not flowering right now though. And all these wood chips are oak. I got nice free oak chips delivered here. This is Veronica. Really beautiful. Nice spike. And I've got a little Dusty Miller planted here, some irises, and these are all carnations underneath this, what is this, Rose of Sharon, some kind of hibiscus, and a little jasmine that's going to climb up this trellis there. And then so we'll go around to the side of the house. This is a, oh goodness, spirea. This is a spirea that I saved and have been growing for a while in a pot, so it's happy to be planted there. Some sedum around it. Love sedum. And a bougainvillea. This is the south side of the house, and so bougainvillea will do really well. I've also got some roses here and an akebia vine. I just trellised it today, so I still have to take that stake out, but this makes really wonderful foliage and arrangements. So, yeah. And this, I mean, this patch was full of Bermuda too. This whole thing, there was nothing here. Yeah, I'm never gonna get rid of the Bermuda, but I can continually pull it up and try and stay on top of it.